see all of you and so many also new faces. So thank you.
So thank you, Deniss, for giving us all some of your time this morning. I wanted to start off just if you want to say a little bit about how you are feeling today and how this competition has felt for you.
Like I am lacking sleep a little bit. It was quite stressful, yet it was also quite exciting. I enjoyed very much the experience because there is a big gap between doing it with out of certain fear and feeling like you are being held back by certain doubts, and then when you let go and you actually can enjoy. And I feel this competition was towards the second part much more than towards this fear. So even though it was very stressful and very tense, it was joyful, and I feel quite, in a way, satisfied with the experience, but not fully fulfilled either.
I think we could definitely experience a little bit of that joy from the audience as well. So we're going to move to questions that were submitted by fans who are here, and I wanted to just tell you all that we have fans from 17 countries here today and 3 continents, and so it's all very exciting, and thank you for sending in the questions. The first question that people wanted to know about your new exhibition program, the In the Air Tonight, and what this program means to you and how you came up with this idea.
Well, it's a mix of 2 musics. One that is a very confusing even till this day, and the other one that is this very lively In the Air Tonight itself. And we worked with our school's, let's say, yoga teacher. So we worked together on this a little bit contemporary piece, and it was more of an experiment also that felt good to try, and then it developed into something more, and today it's my exhibition program. So it's very, like that program, it needs a lot of spontaneity from me. I really feel it doesn't feel right to skate it with too much of rigid preparation. And that's where comes the challenge, because most of the programs, even show programs, you always work a lot, you refine them, you create a very diligent path through them. And then as you go, you add emotion and it enhances the performance. And in this program, I have to really let go and be in the present moment, which is a little bit what we were, I guess, what intention was behind it when we were creating it. So it's also, in a way, an excellent exercise to work on this initiative as you skate.
Are parts of it improvised, or is it all choreographed?
It's mostly improvised. Like a good half of it is feel like doing it and just YOLO it around with a little bit of a structure and vision.
That's great. It's very cool. Dina, do you want to ask your own question? I'm going to ask it then. So Dina wanted to know if you've thought yet about next year's programs. I know that we're not done with this season, but like at what point during the season do you usually start to come up with ideas for the next year?
Well, it kind of goes very randomly, because in the end, Steph, when he hears the music or something he thinks I would like, he creates a playlist of those musics. And then when I think the maximum Spotify can hold is 500 songs. He's got few of those. So in the end, it's a little bit of what do I feel, and like in this year, it was a lot about challenging again this grooviness of of free program. And the short program I did was Shading, and she came up pretty much with, that's the music, let's do the best with this one. So, and I would say right now we just listen a lot, but there is no yet define, okay, that's going to happen, or how or when. Like, it's logically going to happen after the world that we will start thinking about it seriously. But today, like, the brain is still in what's ahead, and that is the competitions to end the season. Like, it's really, when we work and prepare programs, at least in my case, there's a lot of intention put on the same performance, and as you go through it, you have 100 times repetition of the same program. You go above that, it all shapes the performance. So you never really stop working on the program. It grows with you as you grow and progress, as you feel it better, as you feel need to change it, and sometimes in the middle of competition you just change it just because you feel like doing it. So it's a lot of freedom, and that's probably one of the reasons that is so feels like this unrestricted, and why I cannot see myself skating with a lady together, because it's hard to follow just what I think and someone else follow me. That's a whole new dimension.
That's actually a great segue to the next question. And Maria, do you want to ask your own question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about solo dance. It's become an international competition by the ISU. Do you have any thoughts about how it could affect the other disciplines, or whether it could develop into anything significant?
I need to see to make my opinion. Like, I like the concept of moving towards artistic side of figure skating, and I clearly would love to see a little bit more freedom in that part that would bring more also character to the sport. But regarding, is it going to be much different from dance? Like, I love to see the dance discipline, because it's the most of its complexity is exactly in this connection between the pair, and it also affects like the mood, their relationship, how they train, how they prepare. Like, it's daily, and once you know a little bit more about it, and for us clearly we see more as we're being inside there, it's quite entertaining to watch. And the single sport is, I think you can generally expect much more of this freedom I was talking about, that is very personal, and you cannot really see this communication within yourself, inside yourself, because yeah, it's kind of closed within. I need to see to make my opinion.
I think it might be a couple of years until we see it at this high level, but
Well, definitely I look forward for any sort of improvement and progress towards the part I actually love the most about the sport. So
great, thank you.
Thank you. Kay, you want to ask your question?
Okay. If you could switch programs with anyone in the current or recent seasons, whose would you pick?
That's an interesting one. I don't think I really feel like switching. The thing is, I really enjoy the part when you understand what you're skating and you add your own piece to it. Switching to someone's program, I would do it probably completely differently, because I am a very different person.
Aya, do you want to ask your question? Okay, then I will ask. Aya. Oh yes, sorry, yes.
Jā,
Yeah.
es gribētu latviešu valodā. Deniss, sakiet lūdzu, kad jūs viesosieties ar savu ledus programmu Latvijā, vai būs tāda iespēja mums redzēt?
Izdarīt programmu ar latviešu mūziku vai kaut ko?
Nē. Jūsu ledus šovu, kur jūs piedalāties ar pasaules slidotājiem.
Man izdarīt šovu?
Nē. Jūs slidojat kopā ar saviem treniņu biedriem skaistos priekšnesumus. Priekšnesumus sniedzat, kad jūs Latvijā varētu viesoties. Ir jums tāds kopīgs priekšnesums, izrāde?
So I think she means like
What she wanted to know if you are doing a nice show with your
So you have like ice shows with your like friends and other skaters where you're like, I don't know, for example, Stars on Ice, there's like Stars on Ice and something like that, like Fantasy on Ice and like these kinds of shows. And I think she asked when these kind of shows will be like in Latvia. Is it like
An opportunity to show in Latvia,
yeah, show in
Well,
Latvia?
the scale is a little bit hard to imagine. Like those, I would say gigantic, the biggest shows in the world, they are hard to comprehend as being a skater, for example. In my case, how they're organized, how they're managed, and how they actually become possible. But in the case of making a show or something in Latvia and sharing that experience, this is something that is, let's say, a next project after I feel like I have concluded my skating chapter. And right now I really feel like my head or my vision is somewhat channeled or tunneled towards that objective of keep enjoying what I do till that moment I feel like that's enough. So that comes after, and this question I will be definitely able to answer probably a few years from now on, once it starts to materialize, because right now I don't put much thought to that because it's still too much ahead.
You did a couple of little shows recently over Christmas in Champere and in Oberstdorf. What were those like, and do they help you to have a break from the competition stress?
Very much, because I love to perform, and skating, for the joy of skating, is very different than from competition, because in competition you have always a lot of pressure of reaching this technical standard. And when you skate, like, I don't like to use too much word YOLO it around, but it is a lot about expression in its purest form without any restriction. And I like that concept, and having opportunity to skate and to just get energy from communicating. Okay, in Germany it was a little bit, they needed a shot of Jägermeister or something. But yeah, like I enjoy those moments.
Brooke, would you like to ask your question, or I think maybe it's your husband's question?
Ross
Yes,
over here.
Ross, thanks.
So when you skate, I've only done very little skating, but momentum with the skates tends to have a flow to it on the ice, the way your blades are running with your wing. How much of your skating is kind of following that flow versus kind of commanding your skates?
It depends on the day, really. The thing is, what you're saying, in ideal world, ideal situation, you would follow basically this flow. and it has its certain parameters that are very physics based. And then there comes a, I actually don't know how to name it, but it's not just merely a stress. It's a lack of this certain connectivity that is being suppressed by stress. That ends up that you often end up in a way battling this current. And then you make a program that might not even be within this current. And you cannot really change it much or create it from the nothing. So it's something that you learn to work around, and I think we're quite fit athletes, so that we can have a certain quite high threshold to push it through. But clearly there is definitely a difference, even on a fantastic day, when you manage to perform with the flow, or when you are really struggling through, and even though you feel great, you did everything according to, let's say, your process, but it just doesn't work. It was actually a very similar what you were talking about yesterday's morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday morning I had a practice, and I was not feeling ready. I did everything I do to be at my peak performance, and yet I really struggled to go anywhere because there was certain resistance and I wasn't clearly following the flow. And it's a lot about really connecting with the moment and doing what feels like doing. Like, I don't know if you can really fabricate it without really somehow putting it through yourself and adjusting yourself to it. It's very situational.
Okay, a little bit like driving on ice. Kind of react to what comes up.
Well, that's why we've got blades instead of wheels, right? They seem to have a better connection.
That's what I was thinking this morning. If I'd only had ice on skates on the sidewalk, it would have been easier than with shoes.
There was the other day, I think not yesterday, but day before, when it was really melting everything, and you walk the main pedestrian street, and you're like, whoop! And as much as fun it was actually dangerous.
Yeah, it would be very bad if you got injured falling on ice, not on the rink.
Yeah, because ironically, most of the injuries come outside the professional sport. So, kind of, yeah.
That's funny. Ruth, do you want to ask your question or have me ask it?
Sure, yeah. What aspect of being a figure skater do you find the most rewarding, and has the answer to that question changed over the years?
Wow. Well, it changes quite a lot because it depends what's in your heart, I guess, the most. At the beginning, it was maybe a little bit just please my mom. But today, I have a great strive towards reaching certain healthy potential of mine. And today, I think what brings me the most satisfaction is when I can find this courage to let go of expectation and let go of things without detaching myself from desire. And I think the way I see it, it's a lot about the sports culture in general is a lot about management, the culture of taking care of yourself physically and mentally, and it's certain also initiative towards growing towards your personal best. And I think this is something that brings me much more fulfillment when I can say with pride, yes, I put my honest effort, and it might not represent things like, let's say, in competition, but I do feel pride in the fact that I can say, yes, I had followed the process deliberately, and I did my best, and I'm on the way climbing up. So, yeah.
It's So I want to ask some not skating related questions, though I think everything is a little bit connected. Asya, do you want to ask your question or have me ask? Okay. So we have a question about philosophy. So we know that that's something that you're interested in. That what philosophy books have most influenced you and that you would recommend to others who are interested in starting learning about philosophy?
Philosophy. I think the hardest part about philosophy is not learning about it, but embodying it. Because no matter which one you look, they might tell you in conceptual way how to do things differently, but it's all about the action and how you manage to bring it to your daily life. And I mean, even though they are so different, you take Tao to Stoicism, like I feel like both are extreme, but yet they all have a huge common, like something that really binds them together towards one way, which is just keep inching in the right direction of your own correct vector, step, whatever you define as your goal. Like it's about creating a system and following it. Like I think the one that I understand the least and yet it had given me the most probably insight, but it's very conceptualized, is the Tao Te Ching. It's a Taoist, it's a Taoist philosophy, yeah, about certain way of the flow. And I am quite a controlling freak when it comes to daily life. I love structure and I'm very, in a way, approaching it as a mathematics and closer connected to Stoicism. I found that there is need of certain sometimes just go perpendicular. And I think the Taoism, for me, in my current state and my current moment, has the greatest value where I can find by understanding perhaps a little bit more that fluidity of life rather than constantly seeing mountain and chopping it down to its bottom instead of sometimes maybe finding our way around.
Thank you. I was curious because you often talk about the nonfiction that you're reading. If you were reading any fiction these days that you have enjoyed?
No, actually, my latest biggest obsession was with the breathwork, was breathing, and I went. So I read once, then I read twice, and then I went again over the same book called Breath to highlight and practice and try to understand the book and what actually comes out of it. So no, I did not read any fiction recently, let's say past 2 months, 3 months. But yeah, I definitely, I have a certain obsession right now about this breath. And yeah, I was just rinse and repeat about one particular book that inspired a lot regarding this a little inch forward in personal development.
How do you think that breath work is influencing you, or how are you putting it into practice?
A lot. It actually influences a lot, especially with we constantly keep breathing, sometimes through the nose, sometimes through the mouth. We don't really care. There is some research or rather some doctors that believe that we don't need nose. We can breathe through the mouth. But yet there is a fascinating research done regarding how it influences our well-being, our sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. And truly, I think we don't pay attention to how we breathe, but it influences so much our well-being, our sleep, our performance, and just our digestion. Like, I was trying to apply regularly, for example, alternating breathing with the different nostrils in order to stimulate the certain stress and let go of it. I was practicing the just extending my exhalation in order to have the buildup of carbon dioxide in the body and help absorption of the oxygen. And then I discovered that certain ways, for example, training hyperbaric chambers is considered to be doping, even though it's a work that is basically based on your performance. It's not enhanced via drug. At the same time, I definitely can say for certain that depending of your intention you put in, it really affects how your body responds. For example, if you practice tumo breathing, it's so harsh on your body. Like after 40 minutes, to me, it's like I feel dead. Like it's, or I'm doing something wrong, or I do realize I really lack on that in that sphere. Just, you know, in the way you feel after just focusing of breath work without any influence on it, just following it, you at some point recognize that just by following something with letting your thoughts in a way of meditation, you will really end up exhaling and relaxing your diaphragm movement, which really helps to kind of relax. Like you enter the state that is much more not passive. It's very engaged, but it's very also chill. And I think in a way, the way chemical reactions work in our body to stimulate all that release, that pleasure that comes from simply breathing is, yeah, it's a fascinating topic that right now I'm clearly maybe a little bit too obsessed.
Well, it's that thing, you're breathing all the time, so you could be thinking about it all the time, but then you don't want to be thinking about it, so it's always...
I made an experiment of just see how I would skate my program with just breathing through the nose. And I found that the practices that I did was just breathing through the nose, the performances were just much smoother, much better with the flow we were talking earlier. While when you get panic or you get this really, when shit hits the fan, then you have this panic and it's very shallow and it's very elevated and you just gulp the air, but you don't get the oxygen where it needs to go. And that is kind of even dangerous in a way. And especially as I skate and during the winter, sometimes temperature is a bit too cold. And when you go for free program, it just, you breathe it once and like your tunnels and all your breathing mechanism is just, I don't know, not frozen, but clearly irritated. Like, and I think because of the way the nose protects the breath itself by compressing, humidifying, and all other things, it really helps to surpass certain level of optimal performance, and that is something I'm interested in to learning and develop.
And you said that you have a yoga teacher that you're working with also in Champray. That's a lot of what you're saying about breathwork also sounds some similar to some yoga practices. Do you see that connection also?
I mean, initially yoga, the way I understood, is actually seated meditation practice. It wasn't a gym beautiful flow called vinyasa nowadays. It was actually a lot about cultivating the prana, or what they call as an energy. And I mean, I little bit neglected the work with Julia because I was really preparing a lot towards the competitive side of sport. But it's something that down the line I see a great interest in, because well, maybe not to an extreme, but definitely it has a lot of opportunity to keep the good, healthy body maintenance. Something that I'm actually quite afraid of, because I do love to eat, I do love to cook, and I do have to have a little bit of a smart mind after I'm done with skating.
Kinga, would you like to ask your question?
Oh, so have you ever done this Myers-Briggs personality test? And if so, what do you think of it? Do you know what it is?
Nope.
No. So basically it tells you which of the, I believe, 16 personalities you are. So if you've never done it, you can do it for fun. Because people do it for fun mostly.
It's not very scientific, but it is, yeah, it can be fun.
I mean, we will change, we constantly keep changing, and depending also what happens in our life, in our private world. So, but, I mean, I sometimes find that not knowing is actually better than knowing, because then it molds you to a something you might not even want to be molded as. So, and that's why I think the better is to take it as it comes, follow your own natural rhythms the way they go, sometimes even if you go perpendicular to them, just fine, and yeah, just enjoy what you're doing. Like, I feel no need for myself to have a certain, framework of what I am. Like, I really feel like if I'm going to be put in this bottle jar, I'm going to end up somehow changing the jar or something else. Like, there's a lot of interpretation around it.
Marta, do you want to ask your question? We had a question about what you do to recover after training, like to take care of your body and to to relax, or yeah, like how do you recover after training?
Basics are very simple. You do it slowly, so you take a nice jog or something to let go. You always have a certain flexibility to relax the fascia and allow your muscles to basically loosen up. And you stabilize your breathing, which really helps to influence the kick-in of parasympathetic system, which is pretty much amazing feeling actually. And then what I do often, at least once a day, it's always, I use the compression pants, like a light massage for your body, for your legs, because well, they kinda isn't important. And yeah, I just feel like there is a certain also nutritional value of getting a right amount of nutrients. I'm not talking only just about protein. So, and mix it with carbohydrates that are also slow releasing, and mix them together and have balance. And yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a quagmire. So
Yeah.
just enjoy something that feels right, and you call it healthy. But sleep is the most important.
Yeah. We heard from the Italian team yesterday that they all are drinking chamomile tea to go to sleep because they were all too stressed, and that means they had a system. What do you do at a competition when your mind is going and you need to sleep?
Breathing.
Yeah.
What helps me to calm my mind a lot is journaling, and it really, well, it helps to set something straight at least. But then it's also a practice of certain gratitude. Like I always try to find physical, mental, and social gratitude sentences, very much on a daily basis. And yeah, I really love to drink also infusions. Like, I think I'm moving slowly from stimulation via beverages towards a certain self-induced coma. Because sometimes I do overbrew like mint or chamomile, like really overbrew. But yeah, I really like honey. What I found is a little bit of honey really helps to kind of soften down. And of course, the whole thing about not using your electronics and tra-la-la, la-la-la, and take a stretching and all those things. In the end, I feel the greatest influence to sleep well or better is to feel fulfilled. Like when you know your day was good, you did your job and you did it very well, you pushed yourself and you accomplished certain tasks and you just recognize it, and then you can say, okay, that was a good day, I conclude my day, now time to sleep. And it might work, might not work. But generally speaking, chamomile tea for me is not enough to save me.
We have one final fan question, then we'll move to a game. But at a previous meeting, you told us about your favorite Star Wars characters, and we wanted to know, do you have a favorite Star Trek character?
I am not that well versed in the Star Trek universe. I kind of made my pick in Star Wars. So.
What about Lord of the Rings?
Ooh, that one I know much better. I mean, I'm a big fan of the dwarves. Like, I would say, I mean, Gimli is quite fun, but he's also a little bit of a pig. And I really liked in the movies the Legolas, right? The elf. I mean, I don't know, they just, that duo was pretty much like, that duo was fun in the movies, and I don't know about if in the books they were the same, because I mean, just trying to read Silmarillion, you already kind of struggle midway through with the amount of characters and stuff. So, but
that's reassuring because I never finished it.
well, there is. I mean, the story, the language, the way it's written is beautiful. I mean, just Tolkien's story itself is amazing. But when it comes to do I prefer a movie or a book? I would say book because it has just so much more color and depth in it. But movie because it's just so much easier to understand. like it's truly this duality that sometimes you choose convenience, sometimes you choose a little bit more of entertainment. Because clearly I prefer books to movies.
Thank you for answering all those questions, and thanks everyone for submitting them. We're gonna shift to play a little bit of a game, and so Judith is as usual, has come up with a lovely game for us. So I'm going to pass it over.
Chris,
You're
we would like to have your participation this time
in this
again.
game as well.
Then we'd like to welcome you to the front, and we have two fans participating, Alina and Claudia. So maybe you move a little bit more here, then Chris we have in the middle.
Your chair over too.
And we'll have two chairs. Claudia, you can just bring your chair maybe.
You sit in the center.
I am at the center.
It's your fan.
So we have 30
Mine is
players
later.
playing.
I like mine too.
Okay, so we have 1 to 1.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh, that's better. You can take this one.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So we have, but you, like, the two of you play together and you play not together, like three. You will see why you have an advantage.
So we're adversaries.
So the
No.
game, the game will be Deniss or Plato, like the color. So I have some quotes, and you have to guess if this was said by Deniss or by Plato. Okay? So you will have to hold up what he said, what you think, who said that. The quote, did you get it? Did you get it? You just.
He's asking who Plato is.
Yeah.
Never
Plato,
heard
the
of him.
ancient Greeks,
Okay.
philosophers, I guess. And maybe
Logic,
some didn't know.
wisdom, temperance, and that stuff.
Yeah, just Plato was the most well-known Greek philosopher, so I picked him. So you have a sign, one for Deniss, and one for Chris. So you have to decide individually. We have 8 quotes, and yeah, we'll see who gets the most right. So all the quotes of Deniss are picked from your interviews. Over the last years. Okay, let's start with the first one. So the quote says, "Modesty is something that is essential in order to progress."
It sounds like something I would say.
Modesty is something that is essential in order to progress. Make your decision.
Do we just hold up or do you give us a sign to?
Hold up. Deniss?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it. I would start with the Deniss quote. So yeah, that was the Deniss quote. And you said that in January 23, so like a year ago.
That's modesty.
Okay, next one. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Maybe you should. So this was said by Plato.
You could have said it too.
Yeah, that's what I tried to find. Next one. Push yourself to the limit, but the limit must be wise and smart. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that was said by Deniss. That was in July 22. Next one. I always tend to look not down the river, but up towards the source.
I'm still convinced all the quotes are from there.
That was from Deniss, yeah, January 22 as well. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. 3, 2, 1.
I mean, it's okay. We'll see.
It doesn't rhyme.
I'm quite convinced that Plato did not speak English.
No, but that was Plato actually. Okay. 3 more. The beginning is the most important part of the work.
I agree full-heartedly.
What about Plato?
Yeah, I'm also quite moved towards that side either. But I do believe it very much. That it's very important.
It was Plato. So
Who's counting the points, by the way?
I think Deniss
This is
in the
really
lead.
important to me.
Okay. I think
We haven't talked about
I think
prizes either.
Deniss is ahead right now.
He's ahead?
Yes, ahead. You had one wrong at the beginning. You had
Okay.
one wrong here, and you had all one wrong together. So he's 1 point
I'll
ahead
catch
of
up.
the rest.
I'll catch up.
Okay, 2 more.
Use the barbecue sauce.
It's interesting, the question of the river.
When you approach something with a conscious mind that is full of desire, it usually goes against the productivity.
Can you repeat it once?
Yes. When you approach something with the conscious mind that is full of desire, it usually goes against the productivity. Yes, that was Deniss at the fan meeting in Bellinzona in April 22. And the last one, okay. Or the last one is the easiest one. Last one is everyone should read a bit every day. Yeah, that was said by Deniss at the some Chinese
Yes,
fan
yes,
meeting
really.
thing. So Deniss knows himself the best. Congratulations. Yeah, that was that. So yeah, but you have part in the philosophy world, I think. Maybe
Do you agree or disagree with your past self? Is the other question.
Very much agree with everything. I mean, I feel like the initial build-up happen of all those thoughts or desire to live better was COVID, and now it slowly seasons and matures, and like I keep cooking in my own juices a little bit, like the flavor kind of enriches as I go, but the foundation is set way in the back.
Well, good job at the game.
I have to say,
That was the
Yes.
best.
Yes, exactly. So yes, this is it was a prize win or lose, but we have a present for you from all of us, and also there is this.
Thank you.
So there is a book here of messages from fans, some who are here and some who are not, but who submitted their messages also.
Thank you. That's not the cooking part, right?
No, that is Arya, who makes a lot of the nice graphic things, made that cover to be something fun.
Cool. Thank you.
But the other presents are much more cooking related, as you will see.
Thank you. I actually really like when you made the book of all the recipes to try. I tried some of them and I had a lot of fun making them.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay. Try that next time. So I think that now we will take